On June 7th, President Obama told the American public, this is working the way it's supposed to, referring to the Affordable Care Act. As it turns out, that's not correct. Isn't that the point?
Respectfully, Mr. Roskam, I strongly disagree with that.
So in your view, in other words, it's going just the way it was supposed to, it's working the way it's supposed to, and this delay was contemplated the way it was supposed to? Is that what you're testifying today?
Congressman, the marketplaces will be.
In other words, did you do the delay on purpose? Was this contemplated at the time at which we've heard from administration officials for the past several years that it's all on track? And in fact, the President put his personal imprimatur on this. This is working the way it's supposed to. Are you saying that the individual mandate and the blog post release on July 2nd is the way it was supposed to go? Is that your testimony?
Congressman, the individual, as you call it, the individual mandate, the individual responsibility provisions are fully on track.
How about the employer mandate? This isn't supposed to be that tough. You're not making the representation that the employer mandate is going the way it's supposed to. You're not saying that, are you?
Congressman, this is a very ambitious legislative.
But it wasn't supposed to be like this, right? It wasn't supposed to be that there was a release of a blog post that said it's going to be delayed. So you're not going down that cul-de-sac where you're defending this as part of a plan that it is going exactly the way. I know you said you're not in the communication side of things and that you're in the technical side. Can I just give you a recommendation? Don't defend the delay as being on purpose. So at least you're acknowledging with me that this was not intentional, right?
Congressman, as I was saying, this is a very major piece of legislation to deliver historic benefits to the American people. There are various significant parts to provide coverage to tens of millions of people who haven't had it before.
Right, but the point is, it wasn't on purpose, right? The timing of this was not on purpose. The delay of the employer mandate was not something you contemplated. Moments ago, you were asked questions of the chairman, what was the timeline of this? And the communication that, at least the representation to the committee, was that this was basically a revelation and a discussion and a decision that happened at Treasury in some consultation in the White House around June. Isn't that right? Wasn't that your testimony?
Congressman, I believe that the chairman asked when the final decision was made as opposed to when the decision or when the process of thinking about whether.
In other words, are you kidding me? Did you have an inkling? Did you have a foreshadowing that this was going to happen at the time when the President of the United States tells the American public it's working the way it's supposed to?
Congressman, the law as a whole is not something that I think anyone would have expected.
All right, there you go. At least thank you for acknowledging that. All right, now let me focus your attention on a statement that you made a couple of minutes ago to Mr. Johnson. You said that individuals, shifting gear, individuals have a different way of interacting with the system. They sure do. To follow up on Mr. Ryan's point, if individuals who aren't represented by anybody except us, they don't have lobbyists, they're not part of some big coalition, they're just individuals. If they get on the wrong side of the law based on the characterization that Mr. Ryan had, here's what happens to them. And this is according to Mr. Jost, who was a Democrat witness last week. He said that there are serious consequences for applicants who misrepresent their employer coverage, applicants who receive tax credits for which they're ineligible. They'll have to pay them back when they file their taxes. Mr. Ryan's point. Negligent misrepresentation of eligibility information can cost a $25,000 fine. Here's a tax form that the IRS requires under penalties of perjury, representations under penalties of perjury, a criminal act, and yet you seem like you're very cavalier about this. This risk, this different way that individuals have of interacting with the system. Yeah, they're more on their own. I yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Blumenauer is recognized.